Welcome to a tour slash newbie review of our 2021 Gulf Stream Enlighten 18BH. We were looking for a first camper that wouldn't require us to buy an additional vehicle. And so our one vehicle that we have that could tow is our 2017 Chrysler Pacifica. Our search for trying to find something in maybe the 2,500 pound weight range that slept for, had a bathroom, had a kitchen, and really gave us the opportunity to get out with a camper for the first time was quite the challenge. We also were not interested in pop-ups or anything that had any type of tent side to it, like a hybrid. My husband doesn't sleep well in tents, and so we really didn't want to put the money into something just to find out that he didn't sleep in it. So that started our search for some sort of camper that would work within that weight range. And we happened on the Enlighten just recently and realized that we could buy it for about $1,000 more than we were looking at buying something similar that was 4 years old used. So if you are in the COVID world of campers trying to find something, know that sometimes going new isn't as scary as what I thought it might be. So without further ado, here is a tour of our 18BH. Coming in from the door is our queen bed. My husband is 6'1" and is able to sleep on the wall side of the bed just fine. There's storage up above, which is enough to fit small bags and towels. Not much more than, I would say, maybe 12 inches deep, but it's been a handy place for backpacks and those kinds of things. Next to the bed, there is a closet or a mini closet. There is a hanging rod up in there. We have a bunch of junk just kind of stored in there right now. And there's this kind of mystery space sitting at the end of the bed, this boxed in area. This is not accessible from within the storage or anywhere, so I'm totally curious as to what they're storing under there because right now it's seeming like empty, wasted space. But up top we have a spot that you could fit a TV and all of our TV hookups. There are 2 outlets there, 2 outlets down here, and then 2 USB charging ports. This camper does not lack for charging locations. We've got a number of outlets around the place. My helper is lifting up the queen bed. It's not the easiest way to access the storage, but the entire space under the bed, let's see if I have enough light to get down in there, is accessible from a little outdoor storage door. And my complaint there is that the storage door is much smaller than the height of the storage space under the bed, so you can't fit quite as much from outside as I would like. So my taller items, like my freshwater hose tub, has to come inside and then be put under the bed. That way it's not the end of the world, but it would be a lot nicer if that door was a little bit taller to be able to fit those larger items.
So this is our dinette, and so there is actually storage under here. See, there's a little hole there so you can lift that up. Okay, and there's also storage on this side.
Mm-hmm.
And up here is cabinets. Like, so you put like sometimes board games and stuff here, and there's more right here. So
the cabinets are nice and deep and wide. I wish they would have done a second door on each side, so that space actually goes all the way back to each side, but it can be kind of a little bit of a pain to get stuff back there. So, but we found it to be a really handy spot to store things like the coffee maker when we're in transit, just to keep things from bouncing around. It's a nice snug spot. Oh, what'd you find?
Under here is also these plugins and sync USB or
2 USB and another set of plugins.
Yeah. This also turns into a bed.
Yes. So we have not figured out how to move the table down to be able to do that. It's pretty solidly in there. It is a little bit wobbly, so I know there's got to be a way to get that out of there, but it's supposed to convert into a 5th sleeping spot.
Maybe you can push this down.
Maybe. So if anybody has any tips on how in the world you're supposed to convert a Gulf Stream dinette like this into a sleeping space, please let us know, because we have yet to figure it out and it wasn't in the manual.
And say in the comments.
Leave it in the comments?
Yep.
Thanks, bud. The back of the camper has the bunk spaces, and he's going to give us a tour of his bunk.
So, this is the bunk, like, it can fit one person, and then there's a little light, and it actually kind of goes in the walls.
Yep. Can you lay all the way out so they can see how? So you are 8 years old and take up that much of it. Our 11-year-old fills the space pretty well.
There's also...
And up top is the second bunk. There is not a little foothold other than the back of the dinette, which has become kind of our spot to step on.
Here,
and I have a feeling we're going to beat that up pretty quickly.
Light. There's also a window.
Uh-huh.
And, yeah.
And same size up top. They're nice and sturdy, but just a little bit cramped.
And what's this thing up here?
Oh, that would be our fan, so we can vent from that spot. There's an additional vent in the bathroom. But there is our first vent, or vent for the main cabin area. While we're up here, our air conditioning unit is right up on top. We have not gotten far enough into the season to let you know how that works, but we sure will in the comments later. The kitchen is this space right over here. Give you some perspective from the dinette and our helper. For size, he's nearly 8. The kitchen has a nice storage cabinet up top, but let me get close. Can you get that open? Nope, can't reach. So the storage cabinet's a disaster right now. We just towed back. I'm gonna put in a shelf to be able to separate some things out up there. I'm finding that we actually have more storage than I can use with the weight limitations that we have.
This is a microwave oven.
It is a microwave oven. It is not convection. That hasn't been a limitation for us. The microwave won't run off of battery. It has to be on shore power to be able to operate, but so far that's not been an issue. Our cooktop. Oh, do you want to do the fridge next? Okay.
When you're on the road, you want your fridge to be open.
Oh, yeah. So when we store it, we make sure and leave the door open so that it doesn't get mildewy. Yes, absolutely. We would not want to come back to a gross fridge. So tip, once you've run it for the weekend, definitely leave it open. The counter height up to the cabinets leaves you lots of space. I was worried about being able to fit in a coffee maker, but that's a 12 cup and we've got plenty of room. There are 2 plugins right there. We found that that's sufficient for what we're using this kitchen for. Or are you going to show them? So I don't know whether to call this a pantry or a closet space because we're using it as both. You can see that it's nice and deep and we're keeping their spices and things and some Sterilite. Oh, hey, hold on. I wasn't done. There we go. So the second one is about similar size, and I've got snacks and things stored and our extra storage caddies back there. It's nice and deep, so I kind of have to slide things around front and back quite a bit to be able to get to use that storage. We might add a second shelf in the upper one because it goes up pretty high, so it'd be nice to be able to have 2 tiers of things in there. You want to show them your closet? Mm-hmm. Okay, so the boys, we've decided that this is their space. So older brother gets the upper cabinet, and little brother gets the lower cabinet, and that's plenty of room for them to stow their clothes and things for the weekend. Coming back over to the cooktop, my one complaint, and runs off of propane. I don't mind, I cook on gas at home, but it doesn't have the little click lighter auto start, so I have to use, your long barbecue lighter to get that started. And I haven't even used it yet because we found that we were cooking out on the grill quite a bit more. The sink, so the reason we have a tub in there is that to save on our gray water capacity, because we were not hooked up to sewer, we found that we filled up our gray water really quickly. So just hand washing and things like that, we catch the water and then just dump it outside if there's nothing in it that would be a concern for dumping. Can you show them underneath the sink storage cabinet? This space has been a little bit of a challenge. So there's an upper shelf that I have got to find a trash can small enough to fit in there because our dogs will argue over trash can contents and get into it. So we have to kind of, we need to make sure we can get the trash stored away. We were actually putting it on the counter this first weekend out, which was not ideal. And then there's a fairly deep cubby down here that has all of our cleaning supplies. There is a vent that runs, I don't know if you can see it, runs in the back of there that cuts off the space a little bit, but it's been plenty of room to keep, as you can see, like Clorox wipes and that kind of stuff. You have the one and only drawer. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize how precious drawers were until I only had one. So we have all of the cooking supplies in here, all of the little gadgets and trinkets, bottle openers, measuring cups, all that kind of stuff is having to land in here, and I definitely am going to get some dividers to keep that a little tidier. Down below is our furnace. Moving through the door at the back into the bathroom, there is a pedal flush toilet and a tub shower combination. Tub is kind of a loose term there, it's pretty tiny, but there's a shower wand and skylights that my 6-foot-tall husband can stand up just fine in the shower. And then there's also a vent and fan, which comes in handy. I found that there's a little room to the right of the toilet to fit some slider tubs since there's no built-in storage, just to keep, shower items and those kinds of things. And we'll be adding some hooks as well, so we have a place to hang towels after using the shower. I might mention at this point that the water heater is only a 6-gallon water heater, so showering is kind of a brief situation. You want to definitely make sure you watch it. And then that limitation on the gray water also, using the shower in a normal house capacity is not really a possibility. You really just need to think about a quick rinse off. Otherwise, we're headed down to the bathhouse. Moving to the entry side of the camper outside, the door includes a built-in screen door that kind of separates and closes separately. There's an entry step that just slides out and tucks away really easily for when we are on the road. There's a grab bar that's really solid to be able to come in and out safely. And the awning, I apologize, I didn't get a picture of the awning out, but it is a good size awning that runs nearly the full length of the trailer. It's a power awning, and it's been wonderful so far. There's also a plug-in set on the outside underneath the awning, which we found handy for plugging in a projector and projecting onto the side of the camper for a movie outdoors. Or you could also plug in a stereo or whatever other plug-in equipment that you would need. On the hookup or driver's side of the camper, moving from left to right, there's the little small storage hatch. The space underneath, again, goes to that queen bed that was in the interior part of the video. It's a tiny door. It does lock, but we did find it a little limiting that we can't fit our grill is too tall to slide in through there, even though it's collapsible. That the door size is just a little bit limiting, but the space in there is nice and big. Moving over again, the first round picture is where our 30 amp cord pulls out. It collapses right into there, which is handy that we don't have to worry about a place to store the cord. It's built in. Then the fresh water hookup just is a simple twist on, very, very easy. And then there's a gravity fill fresh water tank that is a 30-gallon capacity that if we decided to not have water hookups at our campsite, that we would be able to fill up there. Last but not least, on the hookup side is the sewer connection. And I thought this was going to be so absolutely terrifying, but it's really no big deal to empty the tanks at the dump station. The gray is the gray valve release and the black is the black valve release, and all you have to do is just hook on the hose, make sure you're connected at the other end into the dump site, pull the black water to let that drain out, and then pull the gray water to rinse everything back on down. I thought that tip was super handy because you don't have to do a lot of rinsing afterwards if you let your gray water kind of be your rinse. Moving around to the back of the camper, the bumper actually stores your sewer hose, which is really handy dandy. And then the 2 stabilizer jacks are at the back, and I got really stressed out about making sure we had our drill along and the right drill bit to bring it down. But the crank arm that they give you is really super easy. It is not even worth buying the drill bit. Same thing with the hitch. I have not found that we need a power hitch at all with this camper. Especially with 2 boys that love to come over and help. That's a great job for them to do, to bring the stabilizer jacks down or to crank the arm on the hitch. To wrap it up, we have been really happy with our first trip out with our 2021 Enlighten 18BH. In case you are looking for details and specs on this particular model, it is nearly the exact same thing, if not the exact same thing, as the Ameri-Lite.
198BH, and you can find a lot more information about that particular model. It's in their super light kind of fleet, and we were able to find a lot of information there. But Camping World likes to be able to say that they're the only one that sells that particular model, so that's why it's kind of rebranded as the Enlighten 18BH. Our top three probably favorite things about the camper are: one, the weight. We searched high and low to try and find a hard side camper that had all of the features we were looking for. So at 2,675 pounds, unloaded vehicle weight, we found it really easy to tow. Then being able to sleep four of us in such a tiny camper is kind of a really big deal, that we all have a safe and a comfortable sleeping space, although the bunks can be a little limiting probably for an adult. And then our probably third favorite thing is that it's brand new. It was within our budget to go ahead and go brand new. And that was really a great thing for us because it comes with a 1-year warranty on, I think, everything. And there's a 3-year warranty. But I'll put the link to all of Gulf Stream's warranty information down in the comments. Then our probably least favorite things about the camper so far. One, being on the budget end of the camper world, there are some fine-tuning finishes that are just kind of a little cheap, like the veneer on the cabinets looks like it's going to peel and scratch really easily. Our bunk construction is good, but the dinette construction, there's like staples that put together the framing on it, and then one of them's already popped loose, and we're going to have to resecure that. And then there's some just kind of detail things with the edge of the queen bed where it's not very finished looking. So some of these kind of speed versions of a budget camper kind of bother me a little bit. The other major limitation, I think, are the tanks, especially the gray water, and then the only having a gas water heater. We're burning through propane pretty quickly in this early spring season. And I just think that at some point we'll probably, if we enjoy this a lot, we'll probably be ready to upgrade to something with a little bit bigger capacity to be able to stay out a little longer. But overall, we have been really, really happy with our first trip out. It was a lot easier and a lot less intimidating for newbies than I thought it was going to be. We'd only had the experience of towing a boat before, and so towing this and then doing all the hookups and everything was not nearly as scary as I thought it was going to be. I could probably do it solo with the exception of backing up the trailer. And so we are looking forward to many other trips out in our Enlighten 18BH.